Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Miss Andrea. Normally, I make a live video on Fridays. I just prefer live videos. I try to schedule them at 1 p.m. So if you ever want to have a live conversation about homeschooling, you should set a reminder to come check out my channel on Fridays around 1. That said, it has been a few years since I've made an introductory video for my channel, and a lot of things are different for me, and so this is my new introductory video. Okay, I thought the best thing I could do in making introductory video is to cover the basics. So this video is also going to be labeled my top 10 homeschooling tips. And I have them written next to me, so I'm going to be peeking over there from time to time. So you ready? These are my top 10 homeschooling tips. And in the notes of this video, I am going to, and at the end of the video, I'm going to attach a homeschool playlist with videos that I have made that also contain my best homeschooling information, because I have been making homeschool videos for probably 12 or so years. And, looking back, some of it I cringe at, some of it has stood the test of time. And I want to make sure to share those videos with you as I move forward. So the first thing you need to do when you are preparing to homeschool is to do your research. Every state has different homeschool laws. They all translate very similarly, though. There are some states where homeschooling can be very stringent. New York City, for example, you have to work with a homeschool coordinator. They have to approve your curriculum, and then they have to prove that you've done your curriculum. New Jersey, which is right next door, on the other hand, has very little curriculum-based rules, although they're often trying to amend that. Okay, so in researching your local homeschool rules, you need to find out, what paperwork do I need to submit? What do I have to teach by law? How many days do I have to teach by law? How many hours a day roughly we should be homeschooling? That's what you need to know. You also need to read a bunch of homeschool books so that you know what approach you want to take to homeschooling. And I'll link some videos on homeschool styles and things like that, because before I started homeschooling, I read probably 30 books and decided that I would probably be the most stringent type of homeschooler, which was a classical homeschooler. By the time we were done, I'd say we were relaxed classical. Okay, so that was number 1, research. Number 2 is to plan. As you're figuring out what your approach to homeschooling is going to be, you need to consider what curriculums you're going to use. First-year parents usually can't go wrong by using an inexpensive online curriculum while you learn and make it kind of part of your lifestyle. And you may also want to consider creating your own curriculum. The younger the child is, the easier creating your own curriculum will be. The third thing you want to do is you want to network. That means you want to make some homeschool friends. Go to your church. Go to, your taekwondo center. Go to your sports league. Whatever you normally do when you're peopling, there are going to be some homeschoolers there. Find out who they are. Introduce yourself. And I promise you, they will help you plug in to the greater homeschool family so that you can find people who you have a lot in common with and you can do things together. That said, you need to ask for help. Um, I wouldn't have gotten through my first year of homeschooling if I didn't have the help of someone who'd been homeschooling for 20 years. Okay? I know people who homeschooled while working full time, and they wouldn't have been able to homeschool without other homeschoolers kind of taking different days with their kids and or getting their grandparents involved just to kind of mind the kids during the day so mom and dad could homeschool them in the evening. So ask for help. Number 6 is to create an atmosphere. Um, a lot of people, when they start homeschooling, try to recreate a classroom. They'll turn a dining room or a basement into, a full classroom. Desks, tables, chairs, bulletin boards, play centers, you name it. And that's great, but you may end up spending $500 to $1,000 and find that your child would just rather be on the sofa next to you. So, if you can make a creative space, a wonderful creative learning space, that's awesome. And it'll also be great when your kid has friends over, when they can have friends over. We are in 2020. But at minimum, you need a place to store your curriculum. I've seen people take over a coat closet and get all the curriculum into the coat closet, on shelves, and then the inside of the door with the clear pockets. You just need a space to store your curriculum, and then you need comfortable places for your child to work, whether it be the kitchen table, whether it be a desk in their room, whether it be a desk at one end of the family room, whether it be a pile of pillows. If your child takes to homeschooling on their stomachs, make sure you support their chest with a pillow under their chest. I've learned through experience that you wear down the neck by spending too much time propped up on your elbows. Field trips. This is where your homeschool friends come in handy, because if you're on the right mailing list, you'll know all of the cool places that make homeschool days. In my area, Six Flags has a homeschool day. The zoo has a homeschool day. Different science exhibits have homeschool days when the only people you're going to see there are homeschoolers. There are also exhibits that, don't have homeschool days, but they're quiet in the mornings. So that's the best time to go. I took to, in lower elementary through middle school, a little bit into high school, took to doing morning museum visits on Fridays, and then we would have lunch, and then we would relax the rest of Friday. Take breaks. Take lots of breaks. But I say take directed breaks, because a TV break could turn into 2 hours watching TV. So what I like to do is I like to integrate their phys ed time and maybe their music practice time into their breaks. So if I see they can only do math for 30 minutes without getting frustrated, then we do 30 minutes of math, 15 minutes of some kind of phys ed activity, some kind of challenge. How many push-ups can you do? How many laps can you make around the yard? How many laps can you make around the cul-de-sac? How many cartwheels can you do? 15 minutes of that, and then another half hour of the math. The same with music. Take a 15-minute music break 4 times a day, and now you've done an hour of music practice. Okay? Follow your child's interest. Whatever it is your child is interested in doing, especially if you're creating your own curriculum, make that curriculum, center that curriculum around it. Whatever books they read, find books about things they're very interested in, especially in the younger grades. My son's a very dry person and doesn't like fantasy books, doesn't like nonfiction. As a younger child, he read a lot of Captain Underpants, and as he got older, he moved into biographies. He read all of Mark Twain, and then he moved into biographies. Yes. So just follow their interests, find out what they want, what they're interested in, and help them explore it. 9, evaluate and adjust. Um, by law in my state, you only have to test your homeschooler every 3 years to make sure that there are no holes. And then you keep that information for yourself. You don't give it to the state. It's for you to show that you are making sure you are progressing. Now, if someone accuses you of educational neglect, that is also what that is for. I know some people who never test it at all because the state doesn't really ask for it. However, I am a proponent of year-end testing of the homeschoolers. I usually start the school year with it. And that way, if I'm noticing a hole, I can do some review before we jump into our curriculum for the next year. And finally, number 10 is summer learning. My kids didn't get summers off from homeschooling. Normally, what would happen is we'd, hit the end of the year and we'd start finishing whatever curriculum we were doing. And I'd say, okay, well, you still have to read an hour every day. Okay, well, this math curriculum never ends. It's just a matter of mastering the math. We used Khan Academy online. Okay, so you finished algebra, go ahead and start into geometry. And so with reading and math, we never took a break at all. What we did, though, was change the environment. We would homeschool while we were traveling. We'd spend more time outside, but eventually it'd get close to August and they'd say, you didn't give us a summer break. And I'm like, okay, you can go on a homeschool strike for 2 weeks. And they would go on a homeschool strike for 2 weeks. So the homeschool strike on late July and then the holidays was the only real breaks we had. And that's why my kids finished homeschool 1 and 2 years early. So, I hope you enjoyed this intro video. I hear my family starting to get loud, so I'm going to sign off here. Please check out my playlist. It is my most helpful curriculum from over the last decade or so. And have a great day. Until next time. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.